Hey, there's a T-Rex. Can you come jump at the door? Otherwise, it's just gonna be me and Steve. Kind of slow on this Saturday. The sun is out anyway. I think it's kind of chilly though. Any ice in the bucket?
That's pretty typical. Steve starts in the prone position pretty much every day. The door is now open. I'm going to back out, make this a little different. And Steve, you run out. Roar, 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 roar. Blue sky, blue water, blue fingers. I'm going to freeze my fingers on this one. We've got, different, 38 instead of 39 this morning. And there is the ice bucket. And I didn't expect any ice. A foot of water there. There's probably some ice in your bird bath if you live just out of the city, where the wind did let up last night. Pilot Pete in Lancaster says 23 degrees this morning. If it was 23 degrees in Boston, they'd call it an Arctic outbreak. That's right, we would, Pete. It's harder to warm up in the city due to the urban heat island effect, and also when the wind stays up. I could actually hear the wind blowing most of the night last night, and it's continued cold air advection. The temperature in Mount Washington, what was it this morning? Maybe about 8 degrees. Yesterday was the coldest day we've had on Mount Washington, with a high temperature of 14 yesterday since April 9th, when I think we barely got above zero. So this is the coldest air mass of the season. I talk about when you get the low barometer cold, it's mostly up in the sky. We've had both low barometer and deeper cold, and there's the regional roundup from this morning. 34 in Burlington, Vermont, and 34 in Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts. So warm air advection is going to try and take over. I think I'm going to make an analogy with sports. I always call it like the weather. I'm calling the play-by-play. Hey, look, there's a cloud. We've got ocean effect clouds because of cold air over relatively warm water. We've got a powerhouse of a storm over Labrador, and we've also got a powerhouse of a storm over Hudson Bay, and they've got circulation of counterclockwise circulation. The one over Labrador, here's the satellite image, looks like a Copacelli, doesn't it? That hunchback flutist backwards walking into the Atlantic Ocean. Anyhow, the circulation around that low over Labrador is counterclockwise, so that would be air from the north, cold air advection. And the circulation around that strong storm over Hudson Bay, also counterclockwise, warm air advection. So we have a battle of the behemoths here. We've been talking about our sexy Sunday, November 16th forecast for more than 10 days now, and how this was going to play out with the storm going to Hudson Bay tries to bring warm Pacific air across the nation, but that storm over Labrador with the Greenland block doubling down is going to try and hold the cold air in place. So it's like a goal line stand. We've got the Blue Jay. Whenever we come out, the Blue Jay sees us. And Steve, you're just going to have to hang out right there. A goal line stand. All right, imagine the Patriots have the ball, and it's on the 1 yard line, right? And so you've got the defensive line, let's call them the Jets, lined up on the goal line. A nice, heavy defensive line. They weigh 280 pounds apiece. And then you get the offensive line, and the offensive line is going to try and push the defensive line. They're going to try and go up and over or through the defensive line into the end zone. Well, that's what we have going on in the air mass right now. We have the old cold sitting here over New England on the backside of that low, even though the high is well off to the south. And we have the warmer air, which is going to try and plow into the colder air and get rid of it and score a touchdown. But before we get to the goal line stand, I got to show the national radar. I was supposed to be in California today, but there's this major storm, part 3, coming at Los Angeles. And this is going to play a role in our forecast next week. So a major storm in California. Snow levels very high, up about 8,000 feet, but it is a snowstorm from Mammoth to Tahoe. And then you have the other systems coming across in the northwestern United States and western Canada. So just an onslaught of these powerhouse storms coming in off the Pacific Ocean. And we're going to have more football analogies as they get closer over the next week or so. And then here in the Northeast, we're fairly quiet right now. And we have the triad of colors there: blue, snow, pink, freezing rain, and green, rain, coming across Ontario and the Great Lakes. and that is the battle that's going to occur here. So cold air is in place. Here comes the warm air. This is the NAM showing how it's going to play out. And not that windy today. Clouds are increasing, but it's still cold. We have the low November sun angle, and it's going to be a real snow sky as cirrus clouds and all level clouds increase during the day. And then there's the precipitation coming in. Blue is snow. This is happening as the sun goes down. And the red is freezing rain. There's the warmer air going over the top of the colder air. So again, the defensive line is in Maine, and the offensive line in the lighter warm air trying to go over the top of the colder air in New York, and that is the battle playing out in New England tonight. Now, in southern New England, it is cold and it's just wet. But once you get to I-89, if you're trying to travel from Concord, New Hampshire up towards, say, Montpelier, Vermont tonight, or even north towards the Kankamagus, there's going to be a significant freezing rain storm, and it's going to be done at sunrise. The rain is done at sunrise. Tomorrow, now it's all blue snow in Maine and back into Quebec and backing to the south as new colder air comes in, and the pressure gradient, yeah, I'm breathless. And the pressure gradient really tightens up. I'm going to stop it at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, 18Z, and there's a 978 millibar low pressure system, another sub 80 millibar powerhouse storm in Hancock County, Maine, and there's an occluded front to the north and west, and the cold front and the warm front has moved off to the south and the east, and now we're all getting windy and cold tomorrow afternoon, and the upslope snow is going to rage from northern New York through northern Vermont into northern New Hampshire and much of central and northern Maine. A snowstorm tomorrow afternoon, while in southern New England, clouds and sun with temperatures probably getting into the lower 50s for a time before cooling back through the 40s very quickly and then into the 30s and 20s tomorrow night. Put this back in motion. There is the snow becoming heavier in upstate New York. Well, very far upstate. I used to think upstate meant way up there, even though people from New York City say it's just near south of Albany. But anyhow, there's a lot of snow falling in those mountains of New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire here on Monday morning. It's letting up a little bit, but this only goes out to Monday at about 1 o'clock, and it's still snowing there up around Jay Peak. And so I think it's going to be another 5 to 10 inches of snow. Let's show the snowfall forecast, and same model, and just a little bit on the front side, just north of Vermont today, and most of the snow is going to accumulate tonight is in far northern New Hampshire and much of Maine. That's the front side of the storm. And then on the back side of the storm, there's the snow adding up now tomorrow and tomorrow night in northern Vermont, and still snowing in New Hampshire too. And in through Monday at 1 p.m., we stop it there. And if I put the cursor over, I always talk about Vermont. Let's talk about New Hampshire. Put the cursor over Attitash. I don't know when Attitash is opening, but that's a nice spot to put the cursor. And it shows about 8 inches of snow. So I think we can almost double that from Mount Mansfield and points north in Vermont, and those numbers look really reasonable for the Mount Washington area and western Maine and much of central Maine. There's a winter weather advisory for this storm, but it's going to have a lot of ice. So let's look at the freezing rain potential. It's called the FRAM. See the model ID up there in the upper left along with the time, the moving time. FRAM, freezing rain accumulation model. And so this tries to take into account how much rain is falling and how fast it's going to glaze. This is an accreting ice storm, not a bouncy ice storm. So that means that the branches are going to be laden with ice, and there are going to be power outages from the branches breaking from the weight of the ice. And so that's going to be a real tough travel zone, and anything untreated, you just can't even move on it. It's so slippery on Sunday morning, and as it gets covered with snow, what a mess and what a glorious, beautiful thing that's going to be to look at, but tough if you're without electricity and it's so windy and so cold on Sunday night and Monday. I'm going to put the cursor over about the same spot near Attitash, and it shows close to a half-inch ice accumulation. Wow, that is tough. It often comes in layers, like say the bottom, maybe it's not that icy. They go up a couple of 100 feet, it is icy. Then you go another couple 100 feet and it's not so icy. So the way that cold air settles into the east side, especially of the Green Mountains and the Presidential's, cold air damming is going to make for some weird striations in the precipitation stratiform. Yeah, right. It's layers, Jerry, layers. And this is just the first storm. It's going to keep on coming after that. And most of the guidance now says we are going to get into a warmer pattern after this cold outbreak Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And the next week's storm, the one that we're going to have to focus on next Friday, has now moved to Saturday and it's looking warmer. Before we get there, though, a few words on the snowpack. The Mount Mansfield snow stake came in at about 25 inches yesterday, and there are only 2 years that had more snow than this. 22 years ago in 2003, and also in 1990. But both of those years, it was a quick-hitting, really low-density snow that settled back to practically less than a foot a week or two later. But this year's snowpack of 25 inches is solid, and it's going to become even more solid, and so it's got a lot of staying power. So we are still on track to rival those historic winters of 1976 and 1968. 68, 69, 76, 77. Carl and so many people sending me images. Remember 2018-19? Carl's got his elbow on a chair. That's how deep the snowpack was. They had to plow out from underneath the chairs at the top of Mount Mansfield, and the snow was just caving in off the roof. But that was much later in the season. We are ahead of 2018 and 2019 at the snow stake right now. And so, yeah, we have a real good start to the winter, but of course it's going to change. Things have to change. And so let's go to the change, not using the Euro, not using the Canadian. I like the GFS, kind of the middle of the road for what's going to happen later in the week. So here's the GFS. That's the American model. Yay. And there's our storm coming at us tonight. And it's amazing how a storm over Hudson Bay is going to redevelop on the Maine coast. That is quite a feat, and that just shows the prowess and power of the Greenland block. And there's our mess lifting out tomorrow night, but it's going to be windy and cold with temperatures in the 20s, maybe even all the way to Boston. Might get to 29 by Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning. So the first freeze for southeastern Massachusetts, I mean, maybe ice in the bucket. But with the high pressure system going to our south, oh, wait, there's another little low. That one broke off from California, goes and just misses us to the south on Tuesday night and Wednesday. And that's a miss, but it just indicates that there's another front that's got some colder air trying to come at us from the north next Thursday into Friday, but it looks like we're going to be right on the line, and that system coming out of the middle of the nation now looks like it's slowing down, and so the warmer air is going to have a chance to come in before that cold air establishes itself next Thursday, and Friday now looks mostly dry. There's the system driving into the Great Lakes, and the Greenland block will be weakening at that point, and I'd say that this is a pretty reasonable estimate that 5 a.m. Saturday now, the 22nd opening day at Jay and Stowe for lift-served skiing. And we have cold rain with ice. Red is ice mixed in the higher elevations of northern Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. And the snow would be mostly in Canada as the front now, the prognostication has moved the front about 150 miles north of where we've been showing it for the last few days. And that does make sense. I mean, the last weekend, we had a warmer air come in for our Saturday and a Sunday. It's happening again tomorrow, so why not say it's going to happen again next week? There's a weather pattern there, and so it looks like a mostly wet start to the ski season, but on top of incredible deep snow. It'll still be snow on the trees, even though it's starting to rain. It's not going to be that warm. And so now let's keep putting this in motion. There's more action coming on across the Pacific and across North America. And we do get the colder air, but not deep cold coming at us again. Sunday looks windy and not too cold, probably in the 30s. And Monday, it's getting a little bit colder. And here comes another system across the middle of the nation. And now this one looks like it wants to be a powerful storm. A couple of days before Thanksgiving, there's a storm in the middle of the nation. And it would look like the wintry weather is going to return to the western states as warmer air tries to come up the east coast. And that would be a potential Thanksgiving system with snow probably not in New England. We have a 999 low to our north and a high pressure to our south, so we're going to have warmer air coming in before that storm would get here. No, that doesn't look like a big meltdown or anything, but it looks more like seasonable November weather. We have had very unseasonable November weather so far, so that's going to be something really fun to watch. So, time out for a boat. I've been giving you the probability of how that next Friday, Saturday storm is going to work out. And 3 days ago, I said 40% probability where it was a mostly wintry storm. And then yesterday, I said, or the next day, I said 45. And then yesterday, I said 50%. So now I'm going to say it's about a not increasing the odds at all, 50% chance that that storm is going to end up being more wet than white in New England next Friday into Saturday. Actually, it's more like Saturday, isn't it now? It's slowing down. So that's going to be something we're going to have to watch. I was calling that one Freaky Friday. All right, and more. Yesterday, TK, lazy day. A lot of editing lately. Oh, look at the mirage. See the mirage where you can see the sky over there? Wow, that's Marblehead, isn't it, Doug? We have incredible visibility this morning. So we're seeing the sky where the water is. That's the bending as light waves bend due to differential temperatures. Colder air, the light waves move slower. Warmer air, it moves faster. That causes an illusion that is the sky between us and Marblehead, where we know it's the water. All right, out the door. Yesterday's weather today, TK, a red-tailed hawk, and a sunset. And more.
And more. 1:45 in the afternoon. Obviously, we are not at the airport. And it's just a blustery, cold day in Boston. Stormy in California. So I think we're going to get T-Rex back sooner than later. Not that you don't hold a candle to him, right? Mito, you look at the camera? Whistling winds, I hear. Whistling winds.
Just before 4, one of the weakest and more days I've had in a long time. When you post every single day, oh, of course you come out and there's something going on right over your head. Why wouldn't there be? Hello, Red Tail. Thank you for adding some content here. If you could go down and grab a mouse or whatever you're looking at, that would be pretty cool. I'll be patient. Love how they stay steady. And then behind them, here come a couple of cormorants. Watch out, watch your back. Should be interesting. Oh, this is nice. Oh, that's so fun. Hello, cormorants. Hello, hawk, right exactly over my head. I'll follow you that way. Over the top of the maple. We'll go down there and get a view of the setting sun, see if we can see it next to the Fore River Bridge. I just saw the buildings in Boston reflecting the sunlight. I can see Everett and the casino. That's the top of the casino right there. And towboat, 24/7, 365. I think I saw that boater going out this morning. All right, let's go see if we can't find that hawk. Last of the leaves on that maple right there. It's a good leaf weekend. I don't mind if they're wet or not. There's our hawk. Come on down to the shelf. Focus. Shelf is over there. Will we see the sun? Let's keep an eye on him in case he comes down. Get a video up. Oh, it's going back to where we just were in the backyard. Right over the house. All right. And more and more and more. Walking the line. Here's the stock for the nursery that they're planting all along the big dig here. And I don't know if we're going to see the sun. Looks like it might be just to the left of that opening above the Fore River Bridge. There goes the towboat. Got a couple more minutes. A research vessel. Semper Marine, I believe. And the mailings. Jim, check this out. Maryland Department of Agriculture Nursery Inspection Certificate. Did you have anything to do with that? And they're painting the rebar green. It's a green project. What are these? Can you read that? Fensterman digitals. Yes, Fensterman digitalis. that's what they're doing with the rebar, building the infrastructure for the new stairway to and from the shelf to the beach, all the way to the beach. Plan coming together. Bob's Boardwalk. Not boards though. It is a walk. And when the wind lets up, we'll do a drone flight along the concourse. And otherwise, fingers are freezing just like the day started. So we get the piano music and the day is ending. Very low. All the guidance shifted to warmer with our Friday, Saturday storm next week.